Prosecutors must leave no doubt Rkelly is the man on the tape. The girl is underage, and the tape is authentic. These three facts are crucial, and each has been contested by Kelly and his lawyers, beginning with the tape itself. In this interview 2 years ago, Kelly claimed the tape was a complete fiction, invented by special effects.
I'm not a professional in that area. I do know this. It's not me. And if it's gotten me to this point, sitting in this chair talking to you about this, then it's obvious somebody that is real good at doctoring or whatever they did.
In this media age, the great technology that lets us do fabulous things in movies and music videos makes the prosecution's case far more difficult.
Kelly's lawyers have claimed specifically that their client's image was superimposed on the video, a practice said to be common in pornography. But that claim has already been challenged by the FBI, according to Chicago police.
FBI forensics experts from Quantico have closely examined the tape. They tell us it's authentic.
It should be noted that Kelly's defense team vigorously denies this claim that the FBI has authenticated the tape. To bolster their contention that Kelly himself is the man on the tape, prosecutors will attempt to prove that the video was made here, in Kelly's former Chicago mansion. MTV News cameras were granted exclusive access to the home, though the current owners asked us not to film the room where the sex tape was allegedly made. Instead, we obtained these images of that room, nicknamed the Colorado Room for its western log cabin interior, from a realtor's website. Look for prosecutors to compare images like these to those on the sex tape.
Here there's a lot of distinctive features to the architecture of the room. It's not your typical white room with 4 flat walls.
But even if the jury is convinced that that is Kelly on the tape, and that the tape is authentic, they still face a major hurdle. The case against Rkelly is complicated by the fact that there's no accuser. Like Kelly, the girl alleged to be on the tape says it wasn't me.
She denied it, her mom and her dad denied it, and a few other people have denied it.
She's gone in front of the grand jury and under oath denied that this occurred.
From my perspective, doesn't matter how many times she says she's not the person in that video, I would be very willing to bet that there are some relatives of hers who will even identify her.
In fact, the prosecution's witness list does include numerous family members of the girl in question, most notably Aunt Sparkle.
You better be careful what you do to me.
A former music protege of Kelly, Sparkle has publicly declared that the girl on the video is her young niece. Sparkle says her niece, who's now around 20, was just 14 at the time the tape was made.
She was 14, maybe like 14 and a half, as you know, the young kids may say.
Sure.
She was definitely that age.
If the defense is smart, they'll try and discredit this woman, say anybody that's coming forward is just out to smear Rkelly.
But Sparkle's words aren't the only evidence available to prosecutors. The singer also identified her niece as an aspiring rapper.
Darling, darling, stand by me.
MTV News uncovered this music video featuring the girl, and she does appear to be quite young. The video was reportedly produced around the same time as the alleged sex tape, a connection prosecutors may use in their attempt to prove the girl was a minor. The sex tape, too, can offer clues to the girl's age. A Backstreet Boys track released in 1998 can be heard playing in the background, as can the Spice Girls' Too Much, a single from earlier that same year. Potentially more telling, though, is the sound of a commercial for a company that went out of business in 2000. A detail that could help the DA more precisely pinpoint when the video was made.
Now, the case against Rkelly will be tried at this courthouse before a jury of 12 men and women selected from the surrounding community. Now, who they are and what they believe will have a decisive effect on the verdict.
There is a high percentage of minorities here, African Americans, Hispanics, and Kelly can expect to see a fair number, especially at the 26th in California courthouse location where this is.
The courthouse is located on the south side of Chicago, where you can find some of the city's poorest and toughest neighborhoods. Now, the lawyers for Rkelly and the prosecution will make their jury selection carefully, hoping to find people that are sympathetic to their side.
If I am R. Kelly's lawyer, I want people who are skeptical of the law. I want people who believe and have life experience or read about the fact that cops set people up. They make rushes to judgment, that the cops sort of make the decisions and then they go look for the evidence. By the way, in the community in which this case is going to be tried, there will be a fair number of people whose life experience is just that.
You really want to get a jury of R. Kelly's peers and not have people that aren't going to understand the music industry and where he comes from, and understand that there's a lot of quote-unquote groupies and women that come around and want to kind of throw themselves at celebrities and R&B singers such as R. Kelly.
The prosecution, on the other hand, will be trying to select jurors who follow the rules.
Prosecution jurors are clearly looking for people who find child pornography offensive and don't care who's responsible and what the circumstances are.
Before any jury member steps into the courthouse, however, he or she will have spent years in the court of public opinion.
You got the Olsen twins over there, so then you got to put R. Kelly way up there.
The jury forms a lot of their ideas and opinions from the media coverage.
That coverage has been extensive. Even popular movies like Barbershop 2 have weighed in on the charges against Kelly.
Something wrong with R. Kelly, man.
Y'all see the tape? I think it was set up.
Oh, man, you set up now. He set up the camera.
In Chicago, it's no laughing matter. The appearance of the videotape has divided the African-American community.
This is what we think about him and his music.
It's just music that he does or whatever. We don't care about what you do. It's like Bill Clinton. I don't care that you slept with Monica Lewinsky. It's the same thing. You were a good president. He's a good artist.
The reason I don't listen to his music is because of the scandals. I don't like the whole persona and everything like that.
I support him even though he is going through this case, but I'm one of his fans, so I support him whatever he does.
You might be at home talking over the dinner table saying, oh, that's wrong, you know, I really wish that brother would get help for that. But on the other hand, you don't want to see the white man get him.
Comedian Dave Chappelle explored this racial tension in a recent skit.
We're talking about a justice system that had 500 people who is capable of overturned by DNA evidence. I seen a tape with 5 cops beat up and they said that they had a reasonable doubt. I got my doubts too, all right?
Racial tension has long been a reality in Chicago, but in recent months, explosive comments from a few white firefighters have made it worse. They've gone on the radio vowing not to help blacks in an emergency.
If your house ever catches fire, you'd better make sure that there are black firemen on hand.
Some compare the racial climate in Chicago to the heated atmosphere surrounding the O.J. Simpson trial in 1995. Back then, the division between black and white was as divisive as that between guilt and innocence. Some fear the race card could tip the scales of justice.
There's one expression that scares me a little bit. It's known as jury nullification. It's what I think happened in the O.J. Simpson case. More than enough evidence there to convict him of the crime. That jury took less than 3 hours to say, we don't think he did it. I don't think because they believed he didn't, but they just nullified. They weren't willing to convict on the law.
Here you're talking about a hometown boy who's made it good, who's risen from the depths of the South Side ghetto almost of Chicago. And people in Chicago are proud of him.
Our urban community are true fans and true supporters, and Rob will have support to the end. And when I say that, I mean that, the Lord calls him home.
R. Kelly is innocent.
Chicago courts aren't as forgiving as music fans. In fact, the city's criminal courts are among the harshest in the country when it comes to trying cases involving children and pornography.
These are just the most serious charges that really anybody can be charged with in terms of people having such a disdain for this type of conduct.
If he's guilty, he's over. That's what I think.
Chicago has rarely seen a case like Kelly's, however, and it's difficult to predict how the city and its legal system would treat their favorite son.
He's a star. He's the hope of so many people. So he's supposed to win. He's supposed to win.
I'm the world's greatest.
R. Kelly's continued success as a